was a 21-year-old woman fresh out of college, working her first job at an MNC. She came from a family that struggled financially, and most of her hard-earned salary went to help pay off her family's debt. To save money, she stayed in a PG far from the office, which often made her arrive late despite her hurry. It was 9:20 a.m. and the office was gradually coming to life. Jungkook had just finished the latest development module, walked toward the teammate's cabin to give him update. The dear, a man in his late 20s, glanced at the screen with a hint of impatience. Jungkook, show me what you have completed so far. Yes sir, these are the modules I have finished and they are ready for testing. We need to verify them, sir. Good. These need to be tested immediately. Jungkook, we are already behind schedule. So the QA hasn't arrived yet. When isn't it? Liam clenched his jaw and ran a hand through his hair. This is becoming a habit. I can't wait on her while the team's work is stalled. She knows the deadlines. This cannot continue, Jungkook. Make sure it's done as soon as you arrives. Yes, sir. I'll coordinate with her when she arrives. The TL let out a heavy sigh, tension evident in his posture. Say that it doesn't happen again. If this delays the release, the responsibility will fall on her. Jungkook left the cabin and walked back to his desk. His eyes flickered to the empty QA workstation and a frown crept across his face. His mind was already worried about Ryan. Late again. There was a mixture of frustration and concern in his voice. Ryan arrived at 10:15 a.m. looking disheveled. Her hair was messy and she was breathing heavily. She placed her bag on her desk and immediately started her computer. The TL noticed her arrival and called her to his cabin. When walked up, the TL was sitting at his desk, his expression stern. He didn't even look up as she entered. Close the door and sit down, he said coldly, pointing to the chair in front of him. You're late again. Finally, he looked up, meeting her eyes. Sorry, sir. It won't happen again. You always say that, but it keeps happening. Do you know how much this delays the project? Do you understand the pressure on the team? He leaned back in his chair, crossing his arms. Jungkook had to wait for you. Sorry, sir. Stop apologizing and start being punctual. I don't want to hear any more excuses. If you can't manage to come on time, sorry sir, it won't happen again. He stood up abruptly, leaning over the desk, his presence commanding. How many times do I have to hear that? Sorry sir, sorry sir, sorry sir. If you are sorry, then be on time. His voice was low, dangerous, and full of authority. Last warning, Ryan. He stared at her for a moment, his face contorting with frustration and anger. Then, without another word, he sat back down and began typing on his computer. Get out. Get to work. His tone was cold, dismissive, and final. Anne walked out of the TL's cabin and returned to her desk, trying to compose herself. As soon as she reached her chair, Jungkook hurried to her, worry written across his face, standing quickly, a little anxious. Well, finally you're here. TL was asking about the modules. Sorry, the bus was late. I'll test everything immediately. She opened her laptop at the QA desk and pulled out the first module. Jungkook leaned over slightly, glancing at her screen, his fingers hovering near the keyboard. So, these modules are new. The main things to check are the login flows, data validation, and edge cases for user input. Okay, I'll start with the login module. A few minutes later, she frowned at the result, muttering softly to herself. Well, this shouldn't happened. Young noticed the crease in her brows and blinked. That's because I missed the null check here. Let me show you the fix. He pulled a chair beside her and sat down, pointing at the code. As they leaned toward the screen, their shoulders pressed slightly. Spence had whisked for a moment, but she forced herself to stay normal. Oh, got it. I'll reset after you post the fix. She continued to testing several modules, checking functions, running scripts, and reporting bugs in the cracker. Jungkook observed her quietly, impressed by how fast she works despite arriving late. "You're faster than I thought." When looked up, catching his gaze for a moment, she smiled faintly before turning back to her testing. During lunch, Jungkook sat across from Ryan, concern written over his face. "Ryan, you often come late. It might affect your job too." "I know, it's because I stay so far from the company. The expenses are too much here." "Have you considered finding a place closer to the office? It might be worth the extra expense if it means you will be on time more often." "Or no, Jungkook, I have to send most of my money to my family. We have lots of debt." A look of understanding crossed Jungkook's face. He knew she was the sole breadwinner, and he admired her dedication. Then an idea struck him. "What if you moved in with me? My place is close to the office." "Look, my parents won't allow me to stay with them there. I'm not saying you're not safe. You're the most comfortable person for me here. But my parents..." He nodded, understanding her situation. He respected her family's values. "I get it, Ian. It was just an idea, but seriously, you need to find a solution to this commuting issue before it affects your job permanently." But Jungkook, even if my parents allow it, half of your rent is much more than what I pay in the PJ stay. You wouldn't have to pay half. I covered the entire rent. You can just pay for your share of groceries and utilities. It's still be cheaper than what you're paying now." "But Jungkook, why burden you?" He shrugged slightly. "It's not a burden. I have a big apartment and it's mostly empty. It would be nice to have some company. Plus, it would benefit both of us. You'd save money on commuting, and I'd have some to share the place with." "Jungkook, I have to think about it." Jungkook nodded, respecting her need for time. "Of course, take your time and think about it, but don't take too long. The sooner you find a solution to your commuting problem, the better." He stood up, gathering his lunch things before heading back. As the workday continued, Jungkook found himself staring glances at Ryan. She was deeply focused on her tasks, her brows slightly furrowed in concentration. He admired her dedication and professionalism. Around 4 p.m. he walked. "Yes, I have been thinking. Even if you decide not to move in with me, we should still figure out a solution to your commute problem."